Hi, high school chemistry teachers. I'm Kendra, creator of ChemEd Solutions, and it's my mission to change the narrative of high school chemistry from yuck to yay by designing student and teacher materials that allow you to focus on what matters most, getting all of your students to be confident and successful without the burden of using your personal time to do so. I support you by giving you my best tips vetted by thousands of students, parents, and case managers. So today's tip comes from our unit on moles, talking about mole conversions. So for students, mole conversions seem like magic and witchcraft. And I've talked about this before, and I'll talk about it many times. I struggled in high school chemistry. The first time I took it as a sophomore, um, I I did not really understand what was going on, and I really struggled. And then I took AP chemistry as a junior, and I I basically tutored myself with a CD that came with my textbook. I thought chemistry was cool, but oh my gosh, was it challenging. And mole conversions were no exception to that. And I just remember my teacher would draw a little key and say, the mole is the key. And then I felt like she just would randomly say it and then plug in Avogadro's number. And I was just baffled. So for my students, I really worked hard to find a better way. And with that, I came up with this story with one of my co-teachers that I taught with about this town of moles, and we drew a map as we were talking about our story. And it's silly and goofy, but it works and it really helps students understand. And the number of students that have emailed me in college and said, hey, do you have that mole town map that we made? I'm doing moles in chemistry right now, more than I can count. And so this has been really helpful. So we talk about mole center. We say, okay, there's this town of moles that live in mole center. And we're moles, so moles dig tunnels, and so they can only travel through their tunnels. And we say, okay, at the top of the town of Mole Center, there is Mass Mountain, which is in Grams. And then to get from Mole Center to Mass Mountain, they have to pay. These are all tollways. They have to keep their tunnels looking nice, and so there's obviously something to pay there. And to do that, they have these conversions, which are what gets them from point A to point B. And so to get from Mole Center to Mass Mountain, we have to use molar mass, which from our periodic table, number of grams per 1 mole. And then I say, well, our moles like to enjoy life. They like to go play. And so another place that's by Mole Center is they like to go to Particle Park. And at Particle Park, they play on things like ions and atoms and molecules. But again, it costs money to get there, and it's a little bit more expensive. And in fact, they have to use Avogadro's number, which we know 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles per mole. And then we say, and they like to go shopping. And when they go shopping, they like to go to the Volume Village, which is in liters. And again, it does cost some money to get there. And it's our conversion for molar volume, 22.4 liters per moles. And I say, now you are the mayor of Mole Town. You're the keeper of them. You help them stay healthy, and they get stickers through practice, and it's a whole thing. But it kind of makes this just rote practice situation a little bit more fun. So what we like to do next is I tell them that they have to use their map to tell me what conversion is needed to get from point A to point B. So we practice using our map before we even dive into calculations. I say, okay, if I'm going from moles to liters, what conversion do I need? And I tell them, okay, put your one finger on moles, one finger on liters. What's my conversion to get there? 22.4 liters per 1 mole. And we all recite it together. Then I say, okay, what about going from grams to moles? Okay, so if I'm going from grams up here to moles down here, what is my conversion? Well, number of grams per moles. Okay. And then, well, what about if I'm going from atoms? Where are atoms on my chart? Where am I looking on my map for atoms? Oh, they are in Particle Park. They're over here. And then if I'm going from atoms to moles, well, what's my conversion I need to get there? Avogadro's number. So we practice using our tool, and then we get into doing our conversions. I talk again about using the fence. You'll also notice that if you've been following along for a while, and if you have my notes, this map they've seen before, and they've seen it before in their dimensional analysis with unit conversion. So this idea now isn't new to them, but we have new things in there of the mole which they haven't seen before. So by layering that early, this makes this just a little bit easier for them. To never miss a weekly Teacher Toolkit tip and get access to the PDF copy of both the teacher and student versions of this, so I do have a student version for those on my email list here in our community, sign up for my email newsletter at www.chemedsolutions.com/chemguide. In addition to weekly Teacher Toolkit tips, when you sign up, I have a few gifts just for you as my thanks, including a high school chemistry course outline, a pacing guide, a unit checklist that you can use in every unit that you create, and my personal teacher planner to keep yourself organized, less stressed, and enjoying life. So with all that, thank you and happy sciencing!